Welcome to our YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the latest insights and opportunities in the world of finance and investments, with a special focus on currency revaluation, gold and silver investments, cryptocurrency, and make money online opportunities, and more. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest developments in currency revaluation, particularly the Iraqi Dinar and other currencies, best to subscribe to this channel. Please note that the content on this YouTube channel is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the opinions expressed on this channel are based on our own research and personal experience. We strongly recommend that you do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. Also, just before we go any further, this channel has a weekly giveaway of 100 Dogecoin. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and watch this video till the end, as we will be sharing a random hashtag keyword daily, and then comment hashtag the keyword with no spaces in between in the comment section. Good luck. Now let's continue with this breaking news of Iraqi Dinar today, so stick till the end of this video. Today, we're unpacking an exclusive interview with the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Mohsen Al-Alaq, published by Al Jazeera News. He discusses the ongoing considerations for deleting zeros from the Iraqi Dinar, a move that has significant implications for the country's monetary policy. Is this part of a larger plan for the revaluation or reinstatement of the dinar? And importantly, why is this not a simple LOP of zeros, but a strategic step towards enhancing the currency's value? Let's dive in. First, let's go through this lengthy article, and please be advised that the Google translation is sometimes confusing, so make sure to watch until the end, as we will reveal why this is essential for enhancing the value of the Iraqi dinar and creating a more prosperous future for the country. The title of this article is Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq to Al Jazeera Net. We are constantly reviewing the deletion of zeros from the dinar, and there are no restrictions on our balances in America. The Central Bank of Iraq has reduced reliance on the US dollar in commercial transactions, according to the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Mohsen Al-Alaq, adding that the project to remove zeros in Iraq is subject to continuous review and study at the bank. Countries remove zeros from their currency to revalue their national currency and simplify financial transactions. This is done by removing a specific number of zeros from the nominal value of the currency, making it appear less inflationary and more stable. Al-Alaq confirmed in an extensive interview with Al Jazeera Net that the central bank responded to global economic challenges, such as rising energy and raw material prices, by amending some monetary policies in line with the international situation and to enhance confidence in the Iraqi dinar and prevent a sharp decline in its value. He also stressed that the Central Bank of Iraq increased its holdings of foreign exchange and gold reserves to strengthen the country's financial position and financial stability in order to enhance its ability to confront potential economic crises. These are the details of the dialogue. What steps have you taken to address the crisis of the dollar's rise against the Iraqi dinar and reduce the gap between the official price and the black market price? The Central Bank of Iraq has created new mechanisms to cover the accounts of local banks with their senders in other currencies in addition to the dollar, which has reduced reliance on the US currency in commercial transactions for the clients of these banks, as the central bank seeks to withdraw excess liquidity in the economy that puts pressure on the exchange rate and to prevent the exported currency from growing in an undesirable manner. What is the status of the country's foreign reserves? Foreign exchange reserves are the tool used by all central banks to maintain the stability of the local currency exchange rate against foreign currencies, as well as to reduce exposure to external crises by maintaining liquidity in foreign currency to absorb shocks in times of crisis. The Central Bank of Iraq has a level of reserves that enables it to achieve this stability and provides it with sufficient flexibility to meet the demand for foreign currencies to meet the requirements of the balance of payments and other obligations. According to the latest data on the level of foreign reserves adequacy, the foreign reserves of the Central Bank of Iraq cover 83.62% of the broad money supply. For example, covering the cost of importing 15 months, while the global standard rate is 20%, covering 6 months of importing. However, foreign reserves management faces global and local challenges according to the economic nature of each country and the economic and geopolitical conditions it is going through. What are the most prominent contributions of the Central Bank of Iraq in supporting the Iraqi economy? The central bank responded to global economic challenges, such as rising energy and raw material prices, by adjusting some monetary policies in line with the international situation and to enhance confidence in the Iraqi dinar and prevent a sharp decline in its value. The central bank raised interest rates to counter inflationary pressures resulting from changes in global prices and domestic demand, and issued new instructions to Iraqi banks to control cash liquidity. The Central Bank of Iraq has increased its holdings of foreign exchange reserves and gold to strengthen the country's financial position and financial stability. The bank also launched programs and initiatives aimed at increasing financial inclusion, including enhancing the spread of digital banks and online financial services, in addition to the Central Bank of Iraq's contribution to sustainable development. It also played an important role in financing economic and development projects by providing soft loans and special financing programs aimed at supporting productive sectors while continuing to finance small and medium enterprises. Has the banking sector in Iraq been affected by U.S. sanctions imposed on some banks? The sanctions imposed on banks are related to the decision to ban dealing in dollars, as the banks were not included in the sanctions list issued by the Office of Foreign Assets Control, and therefore the bank's activities continue according to the applicable procedures and in all currencies except the dollar. As for the situation of the Iraqi banking sector, it is experiencing a state of stability, as government banks still control approximately 79% of the total assets of the banking sector, compared to 21% for private banks. The Central Bank of Iraq's foreign reserves cover 83.62% of the money supply. Are there any restrictions on the bank's use of its funds in the United States? There are no restrictions on our U.S. accounts, taking into account the application of international standards to combat money laundering and terrorist financing and foreign transfers. What are the reasons for the low rate of bank card usage in Iraq compared to neighboring countries? What are your steps to overcome this situation? There are major reasons behind the low use of bank cards in Iraq, most notably the preference of many Iraqis to use cash in their daily transactions due to prevailing customs and traditions, in addition to the limited spread of banking services, as a large percentage of the population, especially in rural areas, remains unconnected to banks. Finally, lack of financial awareness plays a major role in the reluctance to use bank cards. To address these challenges, we are working to improve and expand our digital infrastructure. In this context, the Central Bank of Iraq has initiated the establishment of a national electronic payment company to encourage the banking and non-banking sectors and public institutions to develop this infrastructure. The central bank, in cooperation with public and private institutions, is organizing awareness campaigns aimed at increasing public knowledge of the benefits of using bank cards and electronic payment methods to enhance confidence in the banking system. The number of bank cards in 2023 will rise to 19.75 million cards, and the number of bank accounts will rise to 13.3 million accounts. The bank focuses on improving security and increasing transparency and has created a platform to manage public complaints related to the financial sector, which helps in developing strategies to address any issues facing financial institutions. It works to encourage financial innovation by supporting the development of services such as electronic wallets, banking applications, and opening digital banks. All of this resulted in both the number of bank cards in 2023 rising to 19.75 million cards, and the number of bank accounts rising to 13.3 million accounts. It is also currently working to launch a national financial inclusion strategy that includes solutions to most of these challenges, in addition to financial awareness programs targeting various segments of Iraqi society. Where has the digital banking project come from? The Central Bank of Iraq issued licensing controls for digital banks in Iraq during May of this year and is in the process of studying the submitted applications in light of the requirements for digital banks, taking into account the risks and limitations related to digital banks, especially with regard to cybersecurity risks. The main objective of licensing digital banks is to keep pace with developments in the banking environment, as well as to provide diversity in the provision of banking services in light of technological progress that contributes to enhancing financial inclusion by facilitating customers' access to banking services. In light of the International Monetary Fund's statement that Iraq's internal imbalances have worsened due to the large financial expansion and the decline in oil, how do you view its demands to correct the financial situation? Naturally, the country's dependence on rentier resources leads to bearing the costs of external shocks that are beyond its control, such as negative oil price shocks, and because the country needs more spending than any stable country due to the conditions it has gone through during decades of wars and destruction, which requires increasing spending on infrastructure, which is the basic pillar of the shift towards economic diversification. All of this has led to pressure on the capabilities of public finance, especially the revenue side, and thus resorting to borrowing. Therefore, we agree with the International Monetary Fund regarding reforming the public finance situation and the positive effects this has on supporting the independence of monetary policy in achieving its primary goal, which is the stability of the general price level through controlling liquidity levels. We agree with the International Monetary Fund regarding the reform of public finances and the positive effects this has on supporting the independence of monetary policy. Will removing zeros from the dinar destabilize the financial situation in Iraq? The process of removing zeros from a currency means replacing the old currency with a new one in order to simplify the accounting process between consumers. It is often resorted to by countries that suffer from high inflation and have become unable to deal with paper currencies of very low value. Many believe that the process of deleting zeros is an economic and monetary reform process and is resorted to in cases of high inflation and currency collapse, which reduces the feeling of economic collapse. However, if this process is not supported by real economic factors and accompanied by radical reforms, it becomes negative. The project to remove zeros in Iraq is under continuous review and study at the Central Bank of Iraq, taking into consideration the existence of a volume of issued currency that exceeded 100 trillion dinars after it was 6 trillion in 2004, the year following the exchange of the currency that was undesirable and of poor quality, in addition to a wide cash supply approaching 179 trillion dinars, which requires specialized cadres, especially in the bookkeeping process, which government banks are still suffering from due to the circumstances the country has gone through. How will Iraq's repayment of all its debts to the International Monetary Fund affect the country's economic situation as a whole? Iraq's repayment of all its debts to the International Monetary Fund accumulated over the years as a result of the fund's loan programs to address the economic challenges that Iraq faced in previous years could have a positive impact in the long term by enhancing credit and improving financial sustainability, in addition to its repercussions on the country's economic situation through improve Iraq's economic confidence and credit rating, and obtain financing on better terms in the future, enhancing the confidence of foreign and local investors in the Iraqi government's ability to meet its financial obligations, achieving greater independence for Iraqi economic sovereignty, making the country less vulnerable to external pressures and interference in its economic policies, alleviating financial pressures and reducing financial burdens, which reduces pressure on the general budget, directing financial resources towards infrastructure and economic development projects, and improving the ability to finance development projects, reducing pressure on foreign reserves, which has a positive impact on the stability of the currency and the country's ability to cover its imports and maintain financial and economic stability. Where have the Central Bank of Iraq's procedures for localizing salaries of employees in the Kurdistan region of Iraq reached? We would like to point out that this bank has taken the necessary measures to complete the process of localizing salaries of employees of the Kurdistan region of Iraq in terms of providing the federal court with a list of banks licensed by this bank and operating in the region, and providing the infrastructure and electronic payment systems that support the processes of localizing salaries in the region, which clarifies the controls for opening a bank account and adopting an electronic signature for the same purpose. This concludes this breaking news article. In a recent interview, CBI Governor Ali Mohsen Al-Alaq revealed that the bank is continuously reviewing the possibility of deleting zeros from the Iraqi dinar. This initiative aims to revalue the national currency and simplify financial transactions by reducing the number of zeros, making the currency appear less inflationary and more stable. Al-Alaq emphasized that the central bank has taken several measures to strengthen the Iraqi dinar and prevent sharp declines in its value. These measures include increasing foreign exchange and gold reserves, adjusting monetary policies, and reducing reliance on the US dollar by facilitating trade in other currencies like the Chinese yuan, Indian rupee, euro, and UAE dirham. He also addressed global economic challenges, such as rising energy and raw material prices, and highlighted the bank's efforts to enhance financial inclusion through digital banking initiatives. Additionally, Al-Alaq confirmed that there are no restrictions on Iraq's funds in the United States, and that the country has repaid all its debts to the International Monetary Fund. Why deleting zeros is not a LOP. The term LOP often refers to a currency redenomination, where zeros are simply removed from the currency without any change in its real value or purchasing power. This usually happens in countries experiencing hyperinflation, where the currency has lost significant value, and the removal of zeros is a cosmetic change to simplify transactions without addressing underlying economic issues. In the case of Iraq, the proposed deletion of zeros from the dinar is not a mere LOP, but a strategic component of a broader economic plan aimed at revaluing or reinstating the currency to a higher value. Here's why. 1. Comprehensive economic reform. The CBI is not just deleting zeros, but is undertaking a series of economic reforms. These include increasing foreign reserves, reducing dependence on the US dollar, and enhancing monetary policies. These actions strengthen the economy, which is necessary for a meaningful currency revaluation. 2. Strengthening the currency's real value by boosting foreign exchange and gold reserves. The CBI is enhancing the intrinsic value of the dinar. This is not just a nominal change, but one that affects the currency's actual purchasing power and exchange rate. 3. Addressing inflation and economic stability. The deletion of zeros is being considered in a stable economic environment, not in response to hyperinflation. This suggests that the move is designed to reflect genuine economic growth and stability, not just to simplify calculations. 4. Improving international confidence. The CBI's measures, including the deletion of zeros, are intended to increase confidence among international investors and trading partners. A stronger, more stable dinar facilitates international trade and investment. 5. Supporting monetary policy independence by diversifying currency reserves and reducing reliance on the US dollar. Iraq is gaining greater control over its monetary policy. This independence is crucial for a successful revaluation. Now let's discuss the actions taken by the CBI supporting it is not a LOP. 1. Increasing foreign reserves. The CBI has significantly increased its foreign currency and gold reserves. This move strengthens the financial position of Iraq and provides the backing needed for a stronger dinar. 2. Diversifying currency usage by reducing reliance on the US dollar and facilitating trade in other currencies. The CBI is stabilizing the dinar's value and reducing vulnerability to external economic pressures. 3. Enhancing monetary policies. The bank has adjusted monetary policies to combat inflation and stabilize the currency. This includes raising interest rates and controlling liquidity in the economy. 4. Promoting financial inclusion and digital banking. Initiatives to increase financial inclusion and modernize the banking sector demonstrate a commitment to strengthening the overall financial system, which supports a stronger currency. 5. Clearing international debts. Iraq has repaid all its debts to the International Monetary Fund, improving its creditworthiness and financial independence. This action enhances international confidence in Iraq's economy and currency. 6. No restrictions on U.S. funds. The confirmation that there are no restrictions on Iraq's funds in the U.S. underscores the country's financial stability and credibility. These comprehensive actions by the central bank have significant implications for Iraq's economy. They send a powerful signal to global companies and investors that Iraq is committed to economic stability and growth. By strengthening the dinar's real value and not just its nominal value, the country is laying the groundwork for increased foreign investment and stronger trade partnerships. The potential deletion of zeros in this context is part of a larger strategy to revalue the dinar meaningfully. It simplifies financial transactions, boosts public confidence, and reflects genuine economic improvement rather than masking underlying issues. A stronger, more stable currency facilitates smoother business operations domestically and internationally, promoting economic activity and growth. Furthermore, by gaining greater control over its monetary policy and reducing external vulnerabilities, Iraq enhances its economic sovereignty. This independence allows for more effective management of the economy, which is essential for sustainable development and prosperity. In simple terms, Iraq is not just cutting zeros off its currency to make the numbers smaller. It's strengthening its economy in real, tangible ways so that when the zeros are removed, the dinar will actually be worth more. This isn't a superficial change. It's a sign that Iraq is becoming economically stronger and more stable, which is good news for everyone from global and local businesses to international investors. By focusing on substantial economic reforms and strategic monetary policies, the Central Bank of Iraq is signaling to the world that it is serious about enhancing the value of the Iraqi dinar. This is not a superficial change, but a calculated move within a comprehensive plan to boost the country's economic standing. We'll continue to monitor these developments closely. Stay tuned for more insights into Iraq's economic transformation. What are your thoughts on this article today? Before ending this video, the hashtag keyword for the 100 Dogecoin giveaway is confidence. The winner will be announced this Sunday and will be in one of the Sunday's videos. Stay tuned and good luck. Please drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to add hashtag and the keyword for today. Also, don't forget to please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified when new videos are uploaded. See you on the next video.